Keyshawn Davis was set to fight Edwin De Los Santos in a 135 WBO lightweight matchup on Friday. Keyshawn Davis missed weight, lost his title, and at the end of the day, canceled fight.
Such a lame excuse. Oh, I outgrew the weight. Then why even take the fight?
And to add more fuel into the fire, Keyshawn, whenever he fights, he brings in his brothers to fight as well. Kelvin Davis was taking on Nahir Albright and beat Kelvin Davis in his own hometown.
Him and his team were just celebrating the win in their locker room, and Keyshawn and his brother Keon pull up and start trying to press him.
Why did he think it was a good idea to go and confront Albright? What were they going to do? Beat him up? Not only that, but also his daughter. His infant daughter was there within like a few feet away from the scuffle. Yeah. So like, why did he think that was a good idea?
It's just like so low class. You're a world champion at the end of the day. Why are you acting like this?
Welcome back to another episode of The Last Round Podcast, where we cover everything from traditional boxing to influencer boxing and everything in between. Today's episode, we'll be going over Keyshawn Davis's shenanigans this past weekend, as well as going over Vasiliy Lomachenko's retirement and giving our official predictions for Richard Hitchins' return to the ring against George Kambosos for the IBF 140 title. But before we get into the episode, make sure to like and subscribe and follow us on all forms of social media. Lastly, we're trying to build up a community on Discord, and you guys joining would be greatly appreciated. And now, diving into the episode. Our story starts on Friday. Keyshawn Davis was set to fight Edwin De Los Santos in a 135 WBO lightweight matchup in which Keyshawn was the favorite. De Los Santos was coming off a over a year layoff, and shocking events right here. Keyshawn Davis missed weight, and it wasn't just missing weight by maybe like a couple ounces or maybe even a pound. This was a 4-pound overweight status for Keyshawn Davis. Now, he didn't even bother to cut the weight. He said, nah, I'm not even gonna do it. I can't even make this weight. Officially missed weights, lost his title, and at the end of the day, canceled fight. What were your guys' thoughts during Friday's weigh-ins for Keyshawn and De Los Santos?
Yeah, for me, it was quite a shock. I mean, let's just go back a few months ago. He was fighting Lemos, a guy from Argentina. Yeah.
I think he fought Baranchik his last fight.
Yeah. Well, months before that, like in November, he fought Lemos, a guy who came in overweight. And so then, what's funny is the fact that it wasn't much of a problem for Keyshawn. He took the fight on. And then he won. And I think maybe that was kind of like a little karma. Maybe now it was his turn to not make the weight or whatever. What surprised me the most was the fact that just his demeanor. Like, he almost seemed as though like it just didn't really matter. He didn't care for it. And he didn't think anything bad was going to happen from it.
Yeah, so that's one thing. I think his attitude was like really bad. He was just like such a lame excuse. Oh, I outgrew the weight. It's like you signed the contract for 135. You're the 135-pound champion. You come in 4 pounds overweight, and you're just like, oh, my body's too big for this weight. Then why even take the fight? Like, why give De Los Santos 2 months of hard training camp, and when you're not even going to make the weight? So I thought his attitude was just... Also, even in the press conference, the final press conference that they had, David was also kind of being like an asshole just to Abdullah Mason. Like, Mason was just like chilling on his side, and Keyshawn just kept on like trying to instigate something between them.
When do you want to run it?
And Abdullah was like, soon or like after, like something like that. And he's like, oh, all right, for sure, let's go. It's like relax, dude. Yeah. Like, so I think that was a big thing. Like, Keyshawn was just being like weird. Like, I don't know, just he seemed very arrogant in the weigh-ins, and I think it was right for De Los Santos and his team to just be like, you know what? No, we're not gonna take this fight, because I mean, missing weight is like a really big narrative right now. Ever since Ryan Garcia missed that weight against Devin Haney, which is the co-manager of De Los Santos, even said they didn't want a Haney situation happening. So it's all Keyshawn's fault, honestly.
Yeah, Keyshawn, his demeanor was people critiqued his attitude during the weigh-ins and after it, and people are mostly upset because Keyshawn, with the bad excuse, hasn't really apologized for missing the weight. He seems to have kind of, brushed it to the side and said, you know what, I'm not going to fight, because on fight day, there was a clip of him eating popcorn, having a good time. People were out there, just critiquing him the entire night. Yeah. And, Keyshawn already in a very tough situation right now. He's up and coming. Well, not even up and coming. He's a champion at 135 during the time, and he's regarded as one of boxing's finest fighters. He's got a bright future ahead of him, and so seeing stuff like that happen with Keyshawn's a bit, surprising. I still like him as a fighter, but definitely his attitude for sure and his demeanor throughout this entire situation has been poorly managed. And to add more fire into the fuel, or add more fuel into the fire, fight night came in, and Keyshawn, whenever he fights, he brings in his brothers to fight as well, and they're doing their thing. The younger brother got the win. And then now it's time for the older brother, which is Kevin, right? Kelvin Davis was taking on Nahir Albright. Now, Albright has history with the Davis family because a couple years back in 2023, Nahir Albright fought Keyshawn, lost the UD, but it was later overturned to a no contest after Keyshawn was found with marijuana in his system. And now, fast forward to 2025, Nahir Albright gets another shot at a Davis brother, and he takes full advantage and beats Kelvin Davis in his own hometown. Now, the thing is, first off, the scorecards should have been a UD, clear UD. Obviously, some home cooking.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about the fight. I mean, Albright was whooping Kelvin Davis. I mean, bad. Like it was completely one-sided beatdown. Kelvin in his own hometown was putting on a very, very bad performance, and it was just a good night for Albright. Like he did his thing. The judges were, some hometown bias played into effect. He got a majority win, but at least he got the win. And then so he gets the win. But then the Davis brothers still aren't happy with it.
Yeah, they still wanted a little bit more, especially Keyshawn, Yeah, just his whole demeanor. What's funny is that, Keyshawn Davis's last fight was against Baranchenko, and then within one fight, he's not a champion anymore whatsoever. But I don't know. I feel like when someone is put in a position like that, almost, a championship status or a champion, he's kind of like now almost like on the fast track to really become maybe like a superstar, fighting again in his hometown as a champion. It doesn't work out, but just the arrogance that was oozing from him. Like, why did he think it was a good idea to go and confront Albright right after the fight? That doesn't make any sense to me. Mm-hmm. It was him and the younger brother as well, I believe, that went and what were they going to do? Beat him up?
Yeah, I don't know, because basically Albright gets interviewed by Mark Kriegel during the main event, and yeah, he says, him and his team were just celebrating the win in their locker room, taking photos, and Keyshawn and his brother Keon pull up and start trying to press him, and they're like, yo, what you trying to do? And they start pressing his head against his, and then they start getting into like a little shoving match. The little altercation happens. Finally, some people step in and they pull them out, but it's just like so low class. Like, what is this in your own hometown? You and your brother just lost. Maybe go soothe him, but go be by his side. And instead, you try to go beat up the rightful winner. Fair and square. He beat your brother. You don't have to. Fair and square. That's boxing. Yeah. And so Keyshawn, like you're a world champion at the end of the day. So like, why are you acting like this? And I think it was just a very bad look by him trying to go over there and press Albright. Like, what are you gonna do after? Like you won fair and square in a boxing ring.
Not only that, but also his infant daughter was there within like a few feet away from the scuffle. Yeah. So like, why did he think that was a good idea? I have no idea.
Well, former world champion, he's no longer world champion. But after on Sunday morning, Kelvin came out with a statement, kind of, apologizing to the fans about their behavior, saying they were going to be more professional. They apologized for the people who look up to them. But then he added the one thing saying, we didn't jump him, right? He said it's all like media pushing the agenda, stuff like that. He's claiming that they didn't jump Albright. Albright is claiming that they did. So, he said, she says type of situation.
Yeah, I think it's pretty dumb. I mean, we got videos.
We got the video footage. Even ESPN posted it. They're like, we got exclusive footage. And then like the whole shenanigans, Bradley, he's all like, this is unbelievable. He was very disappointed in Keyshawn's behavior. But now look, Keyshawn was the big loser this weekend because look, he missed weight, lost his belt, lost the respect of a bunch of boxing fans, and worst of all, he didn't even get paid. I mean, you know how much money he spent on this training camp? I mean, imagine having to pay, I don't know who's in this team, but for sure his corner has got to get paid, whatever other things he pays for.
Yeah, I mean, I remember not too long ago, Usyk said that in one of his preparations for one of his fights, he paid $50K. So maybe Keyshawn doesn't pay $50K, but like $25K, $30K, money lost.
And he didn't even get paid. So, I mean, Keyshawn, and he also got booted out from the arena, reportedly, after the Saturday night scuffle in the back rooms. So, Keyshawn, big loser of the weekend. People are still waiting for an apology from him. I mean, I don't think we're going to get it, but...
and also, I feel like it's just going to be disingenuous as well. Like, the brother Kelvin, the only reason why he apologized was because of all the pushback that he's receiving. Yeah. He's not really sorry. He doesn't really care. Keyshawn, I'm sure Keyshawn doesn't care. I'm sure Keon doesn't care. I'm sure they all don't care. They just thought it was funny. And, they're probably thinking, we didn't jump him. Okay, maybe you didn't, like, swing and throw hands at him, but you were trying to press him after the fight, after he won fair and square. So... just not a good look for any of the three brothers, especially Keyshawn, because he's the superstar.
Yeah.
Well, now that Keyshawn has lost his belt and has claimed that he can no longer make 135, he is now looking to set his sights at 140. And 140, we got some big names there. So some people are probably eyeing Keyshawn right now and saying, you know what, this boy, maybe he's undisciplined. He's got the skills, but he doesn't have the attitude of a real champion. Maybe I can be the one to take him down. So Keyshawn, even though it was a bad weekend, he does have a lot of opportunities for him over at the 140 division. But speaking about the champions of 135, we lost two champions this week. Keyshawn stripped from his belt for not making weight, and also Vasiliy Lomachenko has officially announced his retirement and is no longer the IBF champion. And you know what's funny? We kind of manifested it, right? Last episode we started talking about the 135 champions. We're all like, what the fuck is Vasiliy, bro? He's pretty much retired, bro. Just vacate the belt. And it's like he was watching the episode too, man. He's all like, you know what? They're making some good points right here. And then he announced his retirement on social media. Yeah. So Vasiliy Lomachenko ends his career 18-3. 3-weight division champion, and is regarded as one of the greats. Thoughts about this breaking news?
Yeah, I'm sad to see him go. Loma was a great fighter. Seeing him rise the ranks so quickly. He became. I think he has the record for becoming the fastest 3-division world champion ever. He's an amazing fighter. Always fun to watch him. So he will be missed. His skills, we'll never see a footwork like his before, So he's definitely going to be a part of boxing. You can be like, in 20 years, 30 years, going to be like, you remember Lomachenko? You see his footwork, the Matrix, and all this type of stuff. So fantastic fighter, but I think it was definitely the right decision to retire. I don't think he really had the fire, firstly, to just continue to compete with these young up-and-coming guys. And, he's just getting to that age where I think it's just time to hang up the gloves. He was holding up the division. And now we got 2 vacant titles at 135. And there's so much talent there. So I'm interested to see, who's going to fill up the IBF role.
Yeah. Sad to see. It's like what you guys said. Lomachenko is one of a kind fighter. That amateur record by itself is so impressive. Was it 396 fights, 1 loss, 1 win, 396 wins, 1 loss. That is crazy.
That's never going to happen again.
That no one is going to be able to match that record ever. That, and then just the accolades that he had in the professional rankings and whatnot. Like, he was on that fast track. When he was brought over to America, a lot of people were kind of like doubting him, especially in his second fight when he fought for a world title and he lost against a rugged, Mexican fighter. They're like, these Ukrainian dude, he's overrated. He was good in the amateurs, but it's not going to translate over to the professional rankings. And granted, his next fight, he became a world champion. So
beat the shit out of Gary Russell.
Gary Russell, a guy who's very young, in his peak as well. So yeah, I think Lomachenko will be missed. I feel like a lot of people definitely are gonna take a look. What is it like? I think the leg work was the thing that really attracted me about him. And I think that's what really attracted a lot of fighters as well about him too, trying to do angles, trying to fit that into their own styles and whatnot. So I saw a video earlier this week about Bam Rodriguez saying that he took inspiration from Lomachenko's angles and footwork and stuff like that and added it to his own style.
Yeah, I think Bam definitely pays some homage to Loma's style. He definitely does do a lot of angle switches, kind of how Loma used to do. So we'll definitely see Loma-inspired styles probably going into the future.
Yeah, Lomachenko, people are going to be like, he was 18-3, man. He got beat by Orlando Salido. He got beat by Teofimo. He got beat by Devin Haney. Overrated, this and that. How can a man with only 21 professional fights be regarded as an all-time great? Yada, yada. And I'm like, bro, guys, come on. Like, yes, if you look at his record, maybe in 20 years' time, if you're a casual and someone says, oh, look at Lomachenko, he's regarded as an all-time great, and you look at his record, you're going to be like, bro, 18-3, like, how the fuck is this man even considered an all-time great? But we look at those things, with the eyes and what we see, and when we watch Vasiliy Lomachenko, you're watching a master, doing what he does best, and that's fighting, and that's the angle switching, the footwork, the punch selection, everything about him. He was quick. Of course, he didn't have the most explosive or most powerful punch in boxing, but he definitely broke you down to the point where you were like, what, I just cannot deal with this dude. So Vasiliy Lomachenko, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 3-division world champion, and it's definitely gonna be missed. Even Usyk came out with a statement thanking him for the years, and just overall just giving him his homage for a professional and legendary boxing career. So now that Vasiliy Lomachenko has officially retired, IBF is vacant. Supposedly, Raymond Murataya will be taking the role as champion, as he is the current interim champion for the IBF. So I might as well consider Raymond Murataya the new email champion, if it happens. Another one to the list.
It's not the best way to win it, but it's not his fault. The champion retired and he's holding the interim, so it is what happens. But it's not the best thing to get the email saying world champion. It doesn't really hit the same.
Hit the champagne bottles and everything. Get ready for the parties downtown. Raymond Murataya is new champ, maybe for the IBF, but for the WBO. Vacant. There's no interim. People were speculating. Abdullah Mason. He's ranked number 2. Number 1 is Sam Noakes. Number 3 is Gabriel Flores. Keep that in mind, guys. Gabriel Flores is ranked number 3 for the WBO.
Gabriel Flores? Yeah. How is he ranked number 3?
Gabriel Flores, man.
What? That's crazy.
He's ranked over Andy Cruz. Andy Cruz is ranked number 9 in that.
That's even crazier to me.
but people were saying, WBO is gone. A champion is gone. Sam Noakes and Abdullah Mason could perhaps fight for the vacant belt sometime in the near future.
Yeah, man. Listen, Abdullah Mason had a fantastic performance in this past Saturday. He was going to be the co-main event. Well, Keyshawn Davis decided to be a fat ass and not make weight. So Abdullah was like, let me step in and put a show on in your own hometown. And that's what he did. He looked stupendous, man. Like, Abdullah he's a great fighter. Like, he's so sharp, so young, 21 years old, so much talent. Just completely outclassed Nakathila.
Jeremiah.
Let's just call him Jeremiah. He just completely outclassed him. It was from start to finish. It was so impressive. He had him biting down on feints. Like, from the first round. He couldn't get his timing, his speed, and he cut him. And I don't think it should have been stopped, honestly, but I could understand it. I guess it was a pretty good sized cut. I wish he would have let him go a round or two to see if the blood was really going all over his face or something. But the doctor stepped in. I don't think the decision was going to be any different, though. I think it was pretty clear that Abdullah was going to stop him very soon. So just a fantastic win, and he just continues to go forward.
Yeah, I was talking about how Keyshawn, in karma and stuff like that, it got him back. Thursday, he was talking shit to Mason, saying, when are we gonna run it? Are we gonna fight? We can get a next fight. In the next fight, we can run it. And then fast forward to, the whole shenanigans in Saturday night. Abdullah Mason really showed that he's not a co-main event or even an undercard fighter. He's now for sure a main event type of fighter.
Yeah, he took all Keyshawn's fans.
Yeah.
In his own hometown. He took all his fans. Yeah. And now they're not Keyshawn fans now. They're Abdullah Mason fans now.
I wouldn't be surprised if Top Rank wants to definitely try to press Abdullah Mason to go for a world title now. In his next fight or next two fights. I think he's definitely going to replace whatever status that Keyshawn had within the Top Rank at the 135. I think now they're going to look at Abdullah Mason and be like, oh yeah, this guy is for sure. He acts like a professional and inside the ring, outside the ring. And it looks like he has more skills. He looks like he can definitely become a bigger superstar than what Keyshawn is. At least that's the way I see it. And so, his performance said it himself. 4 rounds against a guy who, Jeremiah went the distance with Shakur Stevenson. I think Morataya stopped him later on.
Yeah, stopped him like the second, man.
Oh,
yeah. Morataya stopped him. But regardless, Jeremiah has been in there with Morataya. He's been there with Shakur.
He beat the hell out of Burchell.
Yeah,
that was sad.
He stopped him in the 6th. He's been in there with some big name fighters. So yeah, Jeremiah, especially for the caliber that he brings, was a good little step up for Abdullah. But this fight showed that Abdullah is levels above and I believe he should get a title shot next up, because I've liked Abdullah Mason since he was a rising prospect. I haven't regarded him as the best prospect in boxing. People would say, "Oh, he's fighting tomato cans, man." I'm like, bro, shut up, man. Every prospect be going through that same motion. But look at him; he's leveling up, and he seems to be getting better and better with each and every fight. And he's also very exciting type of style. When he got dropped for the first time against I forgot that dude's name, but was the ugly haircut. That was a round of the year and a crazy comeback and very impressive performance from Abdullah Mason.
Yeah, he got dropped twice there in that round, which was crazy. And that, obviously he showed a tremendous heart, and I didn't place that much emphasis on it, but a lot of people did rightly critique his defense. Maybe he was being a little too eager to try to get that knockout. He was leaving himself a little too open to getting caught. I think this fight he just fixed that right up. His defense was on point. He was his head movement was amazing, very high guard, and he was just staying safe and pot shotting and getting out of the way. Because I think he did not get touched in this fight at all.
Yeah.
He completely outclassed him. Jeremiah could not even touch him.
Yeah.
So I think that was another thing that I really liked. His defense has definitely improved. I think he's been working on that in the training camps, and that's amazing to see. Going forward, he's just going to continue to get better and better and better.
Yeah, and I feel like even within that fight where he got dropped twice in that same round, I feel like that's, when you look at it, right then and there, bad thing, right? But now looking at it, backwards or whatever, you see that he got up and then he was able to stop the dude in the next round, right away. And not only that, but it just looked like a flash knockdown. It didn't look like he was hurt. So to me now, not only does he have the skills, the speed, the timing, the power, and the defense, you can't say that he doesn't have defense, because he got dropped twice and he just got caught. That's boxing. But it also seems as though he has a chin, in the fact that it looks like he can come back, almost like Tito Trinidad. He gets dropped, but then he gets up and then he just stops his opponent. Mm-hmm. that to me, it almost seems as though, Abdullah Mason now is a complete fighter almost. He has everything. There's almost like it's like he doesn't have any weaknesses. That's the way I see it. And so that's a dangerous fighter. And so I think he's 18, 19 and
20. Oh, sorry. No, go on.
18 and 19 and 0. This guy, the sky's the limit for sure.
Yeah, Abdullah Mason for sure went in to Keyshawn's hometown, took all his fans, and might potentially take his belt, now that well, not even his belt anymore. He's just gonna take the WBO belt perhaps in the next fight. So Abdullah Mason steals the show for this weekend's past fights for Top Rank Boxing. But now we go over.
Well, hold on. There was two people that were real happy at this Saturday. It was De Los Santos because he got paid 100%
in full, bro,
which is so rare. That doesn't happen. And also Top Rank because they didn't have to pay Keyshawn.
That's facts, man. Facts. But now switching over from this weekend from this past weekend to this upcoming weekend, we have the return of the IBF 140 champion Richardson Hitchins as he takes on George Kambosos in a 140 title matchup. Last time that we saw Richardson Hitchins was in Australia, where he was able to beat Leon Paro for his WB or his IBF 140 belt. And the last time that we saw George Kambosos was back against Jake Wiley, a last-minute replacement in Australia, where he was finally able to get a good UD win and somehow get a title shot at 140. Thoughts about this matchup?
Yeah, it's just I think it's going to be a very, very good night for Richardson Hitchins. I think Kambosos, he's lucky he has a big name. He's got a pretty big name. He has some credibility because he beat Teofimo Lopez and got all the belts at 135, and that's opened up so many opportunities for him. I don't believe he's just at that elite world champion level. I just don't. I think he's like a peg down.
He's a B level type of fighter.
Yeah, like he can beat a lot of he can beat all the journeymans. He can be a top contender. I just don't think he has what it takes to really crack the cream of the crop, the best in the division. And Hitchins, Hitchins is a good guy. He's very slick boxer. So I don't think this fight really should have been made for boxing fans, but I think for Hitchins' side, he's gonna get a quick and nice first defense for his title.
yeah. Unless he doesn't make weight, like Keyshawn. But I'm still very much surprised. Ever since I remember seeing Kambosos fight even before he fought Teofimo Lopez, and I never saw anything special out of him. I just saw that he was continuously climbing up the ranks, fighting the guys he needed to fight in order to get there for a world title shot. And maybe all the stars were aligned, and ever since then it's been he's been getting these mega fights. The Teofimo Lopez big fight, the two fights that he had with Haney in Australia, mega fights as well over there.
Also the Loma fight
as well, that was also in Australia, and that was in a big arena as well. So congrats to Kambosos. I feel like maybe he doesn't get the decisions that he wants, in these big mega fights, but he gives it his all. Yeah, and I think that's all I can ask for. That's what we the fight fans can ask for. And so, he is a warrior at heart, and he shows it every time he steps up into the ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, George Kambosos definitely does have a lot of good luck. It's like a gambler who goes to the casino and somehow just keeps on winning, bro. He keeps on getting these mega fights. He keeps on getting paid, and he keeps on getting these opportunities to win belts. And this is only his second time fighting at 140, and he already got a shot at one of the champions. So the thing that that's always surprised me is Richardson Hitchins, and because he's been beefing with everyone. He's been talking shit about Devin Haney and all this. Also Teofimo
the Davis
Lopez.
brothers as well. I thought he was pretty fucking active.
He was very active on talking shit about the Davis brothers.
So Hitchins be beefing with everyone. He be talking and talking, but the only one he doesn't beef with is the boogeyman of the 140, Subriel Matias, man. When was the last time this man spoke about Matias? He speaks about Kambosos, he speaks about Teofimo, Devin Haney, but when it comes to talking about Subriel Matias, you hear crickets.
I'll give you that. The last time he talked about the boogeyman, he said all the respect, but I'm not ready for him. So I'll give you that. Yeah, that is the one dude within the division he does not talk badly or ill about. But yeah, we'll see. You know, I mean, he just became a world champion in his last fight. He's going to defend it successfully this Saturday. And then we'll see if he wants to go for the boogeyman. Because the boogeyman is right there, right behind him. I believe the number one.
Yeah, number one. So, I mean, once Matias takes care of Puello and takes that WBC belt, then we're for sure going to go for unification. Yeah. But no, regarding Richardson Hitchins, though, yes, I mean, he's a good boxer, man. He's a good technical boxer. He's got it. It's like... He knows kind of it's kind of like for the books, man. He hits you with that 1-2, the jab, and just kind of moves you around, man. He's very technical, very sound, very good with the basics, and I think that's what's really been able to help him as he's proceeded with his career. I mean, it's allowed him to become a world champion, beating Liam Paro with so much ease, man. Like, that fight was not even close. I'm surprised. I'm so surprised that when they gave the scorecards, they gave it a split for Richardson Hitchins. I mean, they almost robbed him from becoming a world champion. So he's the rightful winner. Yeah. He's the rightful champion. But definitely, yeah, this matchup with him and Kambosos was a bit unexpected. They do have, some beef, I guess. I feel like it's a little, kind of fabricated at certain points. But this was definitely I personally feel it was definitely a matchup made just for an easy title defense for Hitchins. Yeah,
because I mean, that's Kambosos' kryptonite. Like, those slick boxers, he just doesn't. He can't do anything about it. For him to really like show his best self, he needs someone there in front of him exchanging. Like that Teofimo Lopez fight, Teo was like on something and wanted to just exchange with him, and that gave Kambosos some opportunities, and he took them. When he fought Devin Haney, he got completely outclassed for 24 rounds. Like, it was insane. So, like, that's what it is. So, like, he's not... The kryptonite is, look, those slick boxers for Kambosos. And I think Hitchins is more than enough to be the kryptonite. So, because for Hitchins, his worst fight, or his hardest fight, was against Lemos. And Lemos was a guy, but Lemos has a different style than Kambosos. Lemos goes forward. He pushes you forward. He throws a lot of punches. He kind of uses like head movement to like get in the inside. Kambosos doesn't really do that. He doesn't really, especially with those slick boxers. It seems like he's like frozen sometimes. Those fights against Devin Haney, like he did not know what to do at all at points. He was just like confused.
It looked like he was moving at slow motion as well. Yeah. And he doesn't have that much power. You were talking about Lemos. Lemos put up a really good performance against Hitchison. And Lemos has power. Kambosos does not have power. At 135. Now he's moving up to 140. I don't even think he's, the power. If he barely had any power, he had respectable power at 135, but I don't even think it's going to be respectable or respected at 140. And Hitchison isn't even going to try to test to see if that power is going to carry up to a new division. He's just going to run around. He's going to use the speed. He's going to use the sweet science and then just take an easy victory.
Yeah. I mean, Hitchins definitely. I mean, I'm going to give my prediction right now. I think Hitchins will ease to a comfortable UD win over George Kambosos this upcoming weekend in New York. It's going to be easy work, man. I mean, I don't mind Kambosos. I think that, like you said, he gives it his all. And that's all you can really ask for. And also, he's got some nice like training attire too that I've been seeing. So I mean, I fuck with that shit too. But when it comes to him fighting, like you said, he's more of a B-level fighter who just he's missing those things that kind of would allow him to become like an A fighter or at least a championship elite fighter. It's kind of like what's his name, Jose Cepeda.
Oh yeah,
Jose Cepeda, phenomenal fighter. Yeah. I mean, shit, bro. He had a good amount of, he had good fights with great fighters, but he never became world champion. Like each time that he went up for a world championship fight, he came up short, man. And I mean, the last time was against Pro Grace, and Pro Grace put him in a body bag, man. I mean, Cepeda, I mean, that he's tough guy, great fighter too. But there's something, there's always a layer that kind of differentiates you from being a great fighter to being an exceptional fighter, and an elite fighter. And there's so many layers to boxing, to the fighter pedigree, and I just don't see George Kambosos being at that elite level. He's still a great fighter. I'll say he's a good fighter, but he's not anywhere at that level yet. So, and I don't think we'll see that. So I'm predicting a Hitchins UD win this weekend. What about you guys?
Yeah, for me, I don't really see George Kambosos beating Hitchins at all. Hitchins. Yeah, you're right. Hitchins. Yeah, Hitchins is gonna just run around and do what he does best. Stick the jab out, keep him at a distance, and then take the easy victory.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's gonna be. I don't see Hitchins having enough power to stop him, because Kambosos does have some heart. So I think it's going to be a UD 12 rounds.
UD, we're all in agreement that Richardson Hitchins will be getting the win over George Kambosos this weekend in New York City. Now, in the case that Hitchins does beat, actually, let's talk hypothetical. Let's say Kambosos pulls off the upset and becomes the new champion at 140, bro. Who do you want to see Kambosos fight next, man?
Well, first, I'd say he has a guardian angel by his side, that pulls him by the bootstraps and gets him these victories, because that would be crazy. That'd be an upset. I don't know how big the odds are currently, but I know for sure Hitchins has to be a favorite going into the fight. I mean, I don't even know.
I know perfectly. If he were to beat Hitchins, he would have to run it back with Teofimo Lopez.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Unification at 140.
Yeah, because, Lopez, because the rumor and the negotiations for Lopez and Devin Haney fell through. And they said that Teo isn't going to be fighting in August, which is so unfortunate. This is a great opportunity for Teo to unify the belts at 140
and get the link back as well.
Yeah, and get the rematch with George Kambosos. That'd be out of a movie, honestly.
Yeah. That'd be a mega fight, bro. Come on, imagine the build up to that. Oh my goodness. I mean, the first fight, the build up was funny because Teofimo came in there to kind of be the little boogeyman, try to scare him. And then it bit him in the ass, he's in the, when boxers talk too much or whatever, those types of compilations. But imagine on the second fight, man, at 140, the stars align. And then let's say, hypothetically, George Kambosos beats him again, bro. Oh, my goodness, bro.
He's going for undisputed at 140.
All right, in the aspect, let's go to the more likely scenario. Hitchins beats Kambosos. Who do you want to see Hitchins fight next?
To me, it doesn't really matter, just as long as it's one of the other champions. But I feel like that's a big ask. But yeah, just if he gets a shot with one of the other champions, I'd be happy. But realistically, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know what their plan is after this fight. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, for me, Hitchins is kind of being strategic with who he's picking. Yeah. Because I think a first title defense against George Kambosos, I think that's a very, very good pick for Hitchins and his team,
especially in his own hometown as well.
Very smart, because he's gonna show out. He's gonna look good. Kambosos has a name. He has a name. He has a reputation. Has some credibility as a former undisputed champion. So I mean, that shows me that he's not going, try to be undisputed next fight, or try to. I'd be surprised if he goes for a champion in his next fight. I think he's just gonna get a contender. I'll be happy though as long as he's active. As long as he's active and in the ring. As long as he fights again this year, and maybe next fight then he starts talking about some unifications. Then I'll be happy. I just want to see him active.
Well, next up for Hitchins, in the aspect that he does come out victorious this weekend, we need to see him against Subriel Matias, man. That's the fight I want to see next, And I mean, of course, Matias is a bit busy with Puello at the moment, but that fight has gotta come into fruition, man. Especially if Matias is able to get the victory over Puello. And they can unify there. Of course, like you said, I do agree. His team is moving a bit more strategic with his opponent selection. Kambosos being, the obvious example right there. But yeah, Hitchins for sure is a fighter that really does need to, stay active. People need to see him a lot more. He needs to be. I feel like that's why he's been super vocal also on social media. To get his name out there. He's seen more as a polarizing figure in the boxing scene. So he's one to come and talk shit, and he's one who at the moment has been backing it up. So we'll see what Hitchins does next. But for this weekend, he has to take and focus on George Kambosos in New York City. But I think we went over everything we wanted to talk about in today's episode. Let us know down below your official predictions for Hitchins as he takes on George Kambosos. Let us know your thoughts about Vasiliy Lomachenko's retirement, and also, do you guys really still fuck with Keyshawn, or do you think this was just a little hurdle in his young professional career? Let us know what you're thinking down in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on all forms of social media. We are on X, Instagram, and TikTok. Lastly, we're trying to build up a community on Discord, and you guys joining would be greatly appreciated. Now, this was Pablo, and I'm with Rudo and Asa, and this was the Last Round Podcast. Thank you for watching.